So today's finally the day where I show you guys my whole collection, all my gold players, and all my legends. Hey, maybe I'll even show you a few silver players or a few hidden players. And it's unfortunate that you guys didn't get to see the pack openings and you had to see it this way at the end of the 2K13 season. I made mistakes in timing, but when 2K14 drops, I'm going to try to get at least 5 videos out a week. I'm going to be grinding. I want to be your source for 2K. That's what I definitely want to do first. I want to add more games in, but I definitely want to be one of your sources or your main source for 2K videos when 2K14 drops. So, with all further ado, let's get into this. Russell Westbrook, the first player I bought, he was necessary. He got me as far as I got today. I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He's been the player of the game more times than not. Andrew Bogut, I actually bought him and then I sold him and I got him back in a purple pack. So I guess it's meant to be for me to have him. He's actually a really great center. I really like having him. He has a high block rating, great post defense, great rebounding. It's like, what else do you really need? Oh, and he has a good hook shot. So what else do you really need from a center? Rajah Bell, I bought him. He's $850. He wasn't too expensive and he plays some great post defense, has a good outside shot, and his speed's okay. Yeah, his vertical's decent also, so you know, he's just good to have as a free player to have on your bench. Jason Smith, I actually sold him and I got him back today. He was one of my starting players from the starter pack. JaVale McGee, I sold him before and I got him back. I bought him actually, I bought him a second time. Because he's good to have because of his vertical rating. It's ridiculous. He out-rebounds some legends. Larry Bird, you know how I got him. Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard of all time. I did some work with him. You guys haven't seen it, but I did some work with Magic Johnson. He's won games for me in the fourth quarter by himself. Wilt Chamberlain, and I put floor general on Wilt Chamberlain because he doesn't need the extra offense. And I put defensive ink on him because his defensive stats are pretty much maxed as far as the necessary ones. Also, floor general allows my point guard to now have the ability to have the upgraded stats, so it just made more sense to put on him. Sidney Moncrief, I can't go on more about him. I went on about him inside my last few videos. He's just a defensive beast. Terry Porter, oh my goodness, this guy got me through the third. He got me through half of the second seed. He was the man. I was scoring 30 points a game with Terry Porter, and nobody's even seen the videos. It's disappointing. I'm gonna really make sure I do better next time around. Lou Hudson, I had him in for a couple of games. I thought he was going to be a beast, so I put all these signature skills on him. It didn't work out too well. I won the games, but he didn't really have that much of an effect, especially for 350 VC worth. Paul Pressey, I put him in at first, and then I took him out, and I put him back in recently. In the last game I played, he had like 20 points, 10 dunks. So, you know, every score was a dunk. This guy's a beast. James Worthy, he's really undervalued. Everybody hates him because they get him so often in gold packs. They should be thankful. He is a great player to have. He's a good inside shooter. He's big. He has a great layup and dunk rating. He dunks often. He has a solid, he has okay rebound. It's not as good as it should be, but his vertical makes up for it. He has incredibly high speed. He has great awareness. And then he has a great hook and post fadeaway. He's just a great player to have. Willis Reed, I never used him. I got him a few weeks ago. Rudy LaRusso, you guys see me get him. He was like one of the first gold legends I got out of a pack, and I never used him. Brad Daugherty, I had some games with him. I did some crazy moves out of the post with him, and nobody's ever gonna see it. I wish 2K14 wasn't coming out so soon. Horace Grant, I was excited to get him, but I didn't have a use for him, so he's been on my bench the entire time. Otis Thorpe, I've used him a few times in practice games only. He's a good player, but I don't know. I don't know why he never made it to the team. Nick Anderson, he's a good defender. He has a good outside shot, ridiculous outside shot. He's a good dunker. So why not have him? He's been on my team ever since I got him. And he's tall. Jerome Kersey, he's pretty much just as good as Gerald Wallace. And not worth it because he's a gold player, so I never used him. Muggsy Bogues, I was gonna try to show off with him, but I'm not a Muggsy Bogues guy. I'm sorry. He's just so useless. I'll have to put him in garbage time when I'm up by like 10 or something. Walt Bellamy, he's a poor man's Willis Reed in my opinion. or Wilt Chamberlain. I had no real use for him. The only thing I could maybe consider using him for was nothing. Henry Bibby, I got him this morning. Useless because the next game's coming out in about a week and a day. And I'm pretty sure the 2K14 demo comes out tomorrow, so I'm not going to be using Henry Bibby ever. Hershey Hawkins, that is my guy right there. He made it to the starting lineup over Nick Anderson. How? Because he does not miss. Nick Anderson's a great guy. He's a great defender. He's taller than him. He's a dunker like my team requires. But I have made some crazy comebacks running 3-point plays for Hershey Hawkins. Hershey Hawkins just does not miss shots. It's ridiculous. I replaced Gerald Green for this man, for Pete's sake. And his steal rating's high. His on-ball defense is high. Only problem is that he's a little guy with slow speed, but his offense makes up for it. Dennis Rodman. I always used to say that if I got Dennis Rodman, I would get rid of Blake Griffin. As you can see, Blake Griffin is not here. Unfortunately, Dennis Rodman didn't do as good as I thought he was going to do. He was okay, but he wasn't doing as good as I thought he was going to do. So I put him on my bench, and I bought Kenneth Faried, which I sold recently because I figured that I was going to use James Worthy instead. Larry Nance. I wanted to put him in my starting lineup. He's kind of like a James Worthy, kind of like a Dennis Rodman to me, but he was better off on the bench, and I realized that I didn't have a space for him because I was going to use him after I got further in the season. I was just to show off pretty much. But I really like Larry Nance a lot. He has a good block, he has a good vertical, solid rebounding, and he's a dunker. I love dunkers. A tall dunker at that. My very first gold legend never made it to the team because Shannon Brown was better than him. Then Nick Anderson was better than him, and he just was a decent player, but he was like a jack of all trades, master of none. He didn't have a space for me. Vlade Divac is actually on my bench team right now. 7'1", decent shooter. He has a solid passing. He has a great steal and block rating. Great rebounding. Like, he's just a good player to have. And John Williams, he's one of my first gold legends. Everybody hates him because he's so low of a gold legend that he's behind silver legends right here on the line. Like, this doesn't even make sense. That's how much they disrespected John Williams in this game, or overrated him, either one. Mad Max, Vernon Maxwell, he was on my team for a little while. I love this guy in this game. Like, he put in work in 2K12 and 2K13 for me. I have always had a good game with Vernon Maxwell. Who else made it to my team at one point? Let's see. I once also added... Oh, Cliff Robinson. This guy had a 360 alley-oop that I did only one time. It was so sick that the guy paused the game, replayed it, and then quit after. It was like it was so sick he knew that he wasn't going to see anything better than that for the rest of the day, so he just cut it off. Nate McMillan, he didn't do as good as I thought he was going to do. His stats made him a beast, but he couldn't make shots. He was so inconsistent. It was weird. Sam Cassell, he never made it to the team, but I put signature skills on him because I wanted to use him. I don't know why, but I just couldn't find a spot for him. Kenny Smith, I was going to put him on because of his 3-point rating as a point guard, but his release is way too slow, so I didn't really like him. I took him off after one game. I like Anthony Mason. He was going to make it to my team eventually after Who else is there? Danny Ainge, he was on the team for like a day. He had an okay game. Robert Pack, I got him very, very late. Didn't even get to use him at all because the game was extremely close and I couldn't take out Westbrook for Robert Pack out of all people. He's just the worst Westbrook. Who else did I get? Greg Anthony. Did I say Anthony Mason? No, Greg Anthony's the one I want on my team. Doug Christie, he's pretty much like a Gerald Green with defense. So I had him on my team for a little while. He had some solid games actually. Del Curry never made it to the team. I'm the only YouTube commentator who didn't use him at all. I have no interest in using Del Curry at all. Charles Oakley, he has 99 rebounding. Of course he made it to the team. He didn't last long because I got Dennis Rodman, and I got Greg Ostertag, and I got Wilt Chamberlain, and I got a whole bunch of the 99 rebounding guys. So it wasn't useful after a while. Who else? George Lynch was he was my very first silver legend. I got him in my first video of 2K13. And I put out on October 6th, I believe. Never used him. Kevin Duckworth, got him late. Sam Perkins, never found a spot for him, although he could have been useful. Rodney, I like this guy, but he just wasn't good enough for my team. Who else was there that I wanted to add to my team at one point? Spud Webb, I wanted to add him so bad, But I just couldn't find a spot for him. He's fast, he's a good dunker, but I couldn't find a spot for him. Steve Kerr, never used him because he has no defense. His defense, his rating is a C+. Like, look at how low his on-ball defense is. Everybody would just blow right past him. I need defense on my team. John Barry, he's not bad, but I never used him. Hubert Davis, he's been on my team since I got him. He has a 95 3-point rating. He's the regulator. When I'm down, put him in. Gerald Wallace, I had him in simply for highlights and highlights only. 97 dunk, of course he's going on the team, but he didn't last long because his defense is suspect and he has no other skills other than dunking. Harvey Catching, I actually had him on my team for a while. He has an okay inside, his dunking is okay, but the thing that made me like him a lot was his block rating. His block rating, his rebounding was solid, and then on top of that, he had a high vertical. So at 6'9", he was playing bigger than his size, especially for a silver legend. Who else is there? Scott Brooks never made it to the team like most people. Greg Ostertag, he's in my starting lineup. This guy is 7'2". He has 99 block, 99 offensive rebound, 91 defensive rebound. It gets raised with Will Chamberlain's defensive anchor. He has high strength. All he has to do is sit there and be fat. That's it. He's 280 pounds. That's all he has to do, just sit there in the paint. And he'll defend your biggest guy. Unfortunately, his stamina is suspect. It's only 65 and he's a slow guy, but he doesn't have to move that much. Just stay in the paint. And I believe, you know, Terrence Ross, I had some big days with him in my first 4 seeds, but he's gone now. Dante Jones, I was going to use him because he has a good outside shot. He's a great dunker. And on top of that, he's fast with high on-ball defense. He's a good player to have. And he was cheap. Never made it, though. Richard Jefferson played a couple of games. Austin Rivers, you guys saw what I did with him on Full House Entertainment's channel, the Friday Spotlight. Gerald Green. I can't say enough about Gerald Green. You guys hated Gerald Green. Hold on, let me set the record straight right now. You guys were getting mad that I was using Gerald Green because of these ratings. Everything's in the 80s and 90s, right? But then they fall off. His defense and his passing, his stealing is low, his rebounding is low, his like everything. His durability doesn't matter, but his defensive awareness, he has no defense. He's a great offensive player, but it was a trade-off. It was a risk. His shot in traffic was a 59 and his shot off a dribble was a 65. The fact that I was making a guy make 9 3-pointers out of 12, 75% shooting, right? With an 80 rating on 3, 81 rating on 3. That says something. If anything, I don't get why people got mad about me scoring high with Gerald Green. He was my lowest rated player. I could have easily bought Andre Iguodala or Kobe Bryant and did the same thing. I could have bought Carmelo and did the same thing. They're the same height, same position. So the fact that I did it with a worse rated player, I don't get why people hate that more than me just stacking my team with gold legends and spamming threes. I don't understand people. I don't get your logic. You can try to explain it to me. High post fadeaway. I never used it though. You guys can try to explain it to me, but I'm sorry. I just can't agree with somebody calling him cheese because I scored a high amount of points with my worst rated player. He may play better than he does in real life, but he is not the best player in this game. Simple as that. Not even the best on my team. And that's pretty much it. You know, Patrick Mills, the original captain, he's not on the team, but I never sold him. You know, I got a lot of love for Patrick Mills. And we're back here at the beginning, so that was my team, my whole roster. You guys seen everybody I had, you guys seen everybody I used, the things I've done with them. Unfortunately, some of you guys did not see. But next year, I will be on top of it. I will get you at least 4 videos a week. That's what I'm gonna aim for. At least 4. It may not be all 2K, but I'm gonna try to get you more videos. I'm gonna put more work into YouTube. And I thank you guys for staying with me for as long as you guys have. I really appreciate it.